started as a band director, and when did you know that that's what you wanted to be?
Wow. I knew I wanted to be a band director when I was in high school. Like I think my junior year is when stuff got kind of serious because my mom and dad and all my family purchased me my own instrument, which was a hefty purchase. So I knew that things were pretty serious at that point. And then how I became a band director, is that what the question was? Or?
Yeah, how did you get started?
I mean, like anything, you kind of figure out what path you have to take to make a career work, and through, talking to my high school band director, and then going to, USF for music and music education specifically, and teaching, it just kind of was a natural progression of things, I think, because I knew what I wanted to do. So it was a very easy transition.
How did you get started in bands, and when did you know that it was what you wanted to do?
Well, I got started in band in middle school, and I didn't really even know that I wanted to do band for my elective. My friend, one of my best friends actually, she was in band already. She was a year older than me, so she convinced me to join, and then after that, I just continued band, and then I realized, once I got to high school, my first year marching band, I realized I really loved it, so I kept doing it.
How did you get started in the whole music spectrum?
Oh, good question. My mother is a pianist, and my earliest memories are of music, mostly of her playing, teaching piano lessons, listening to Bach. So I don't really think I chose music. I think I was born into it, and I think music chose me. I've known I wanted to be a band director since I was in 7th grade. It is the only thing I've ever wanted to do. If I ever can't be a band director again, I don't have a plan B. You should have a plan B. I don't have a plan B. It is the only thing I've ever wanted to do.
Do you think music unites people, and why?
I do, because I mean, okay, so I'll use an example. Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, probably one of his greatest symphonies. It doesn't matter who you are, or where you are, or what nationality you're from, or what country you're from. When you hear that, it evokes emotion inside of you, and I think that's what music and art do specifically, is they touch our humanity, which truly is what links us together as a society. I mean, we are only separate from other carbon fiber beings because we have the human nature inside of us, the humanity inside of us. So I think music touches that, and as Disney and hippie as that sounds, I think it's a true statement. It doesn't matter, music speaks to people, whether or not it's the music from, The Exorcist, or it's music like Beethoven 9. There's something in it that just evokes emotion in people.
Do you think music unites people, and why?
Yeah, I kind of have since I'm in band, I kind of have two answers for that, but they go back to the same thing. Being a band student, I think the activity really brings people together, just because people are all playing these different instruments, but together they make a song, they create art and music, and they're all doing something they enjoy. So, and you find people similar to you in an activity like this. So I think that's one way of answering it. But then also when you like the same kind of music and artists, at concerts and stuff, you meet people that you never would meet if you didn't have that common ground. So I think that brings people together.
Do you think music unites people, and how do you think it does it?
Well, I think music has the potential to unite people in ways that nothing else can. It crosses cultures, it crosses genders, it crosses age. If you go to concerts, I don't know how many activities you'll go to that you'll see so many varieties of people. If you go to an orchestra concert, there are very old and very young. If you go to rock concerts, very old, every race, everything imaginable. I think that the best music speaks to people on many different levels. I think that a really wonderful piece of music is capable of mourning with you when you mourn, is capable of rejoicing with you when you rejoice, and I think that as a human population, we need that. It provides something that literature doesn't, that art doesn't. I can absolutely I can go to a concert and be surrounded by people I've never met before, and we have a similar experience. And it's not always the same experience. I mean, if somebody comes to a concert that's had a miserable day and it uplifts them, or while somebody else is bringing back maybe painful memories, which is fine. We can have different experiences, but we're having them simultaneously. So I absolutely believe music is capable of uniting people.
Why do you think certain genres of music are appreciated by different types of people?
I think it's like anything. It's like, why are certain types of food appreciated by certain types, by different people? I think it depends on what you're brought up with. I think, if you're raised in a home where classical music is played, I think you're going to appreciate classical music more. I think if you're brought up in a home where jazz is predominant, you're going to really have a liking of jazz. People don't tend to understand music that they never really listen to. So if you don't ever listen to classical orchestral music, then you probably don't understand it, so you don't really like it. It may not even be that you don't like it, but it's not what you're used to. So I think it has a lot to do with that, like what they're exposed to, what's mainstream. What are when you turn on your radio, how many pop stations are there versus how many classical or band or jazz stations are there? I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just hard to gain that exposure unless it comes from home, or your parent is a music teacher.
Yeah.
Or has an appreciation.
And do you think like the group of people would pick the music, or do you think the group of people is formed because of the music?
Meaning what?
Like, do you think that like country music exists because they're country people, or do you think country people are a thing because of country music?
Well, first of all, country, what we know today,
It's not the same. I was just picking an example.
Yeah. I mean, I think every form of music has evolved out of necessity from something else. Like jazz.
Yeah.
Evolved from, like gospel and singing, and then it evolved into instrument playing. There was always a genesis of something. And I think that country music, I'll use that example because you brought it up, but I think in its purity, it talks to people that live that life. Farming,
that they relate to.
Yeah. I think that's what all music is. Music used to be just sacred. It used to be just done in church, and then it became secular, where people rich enough that could pay for a musician to work for them had music written. That was what Mozart did. He worked for people and wrote music, and it became more social. And it was what is the time, and back then it was opera. So he wrote operas about the time frame, and I don't know that music picks the people or people pick the music. I think it's just kind of
Intertwined.
I think it intertwines. I think people write what they know, and I think that's kind of how it evolves from year to year.
Do you think that groups choose music, or the other way around?
What do you mean? You mean groups and bands?
Typically like teenagers would listen to rock music.
Right. That's a really good question. I think that people who are producing music and writing music have a target audience. If I'm writing a violin concerto, I'm not expecting a bunch of 12-year-olds to go crazy about it.
Yeah.
If I'm writing death metal, I'm not going to, take it to a nursing home and hope it works. So I think it's very much universal. I think the writers have somebody they're aiming at. I think the producers have somebody they're aiming at. Choreographers, t-shirt designers, because when you think about music, you have to realize it's not just about the tune. I mean, if you think, hey, I'm going to download this Britney Spears tune, and it doesn't matter because she's very, very rich. You're right. She is very, very rich. Her producer, the person who sold her t-shirt, the person who drives the truck from tour to tour, the person who designs her uniforms, the person who does the cover notes. I mean, those are not very, very rich people. So I think that it takes a team to bring music to the masses, and I do think it's generally aimed at somebody else. When you have somebody like an orchestra, they're always trying to get younger audiences in there. But orchestral music is not terribly appealing to an 8-year-old. They don't have that attention span. But if you keep going and keep taking it to them, I mean, I have a 1.5-year-old right now. We play orchestral music for him all the time, but not huge, long 40 pieces, 2-minute pieces, so we're used to it.
From the drum beats of our ancient ancestors to today's unlimited streaming services, music is an integral part of the human experience. Music provides the soundtrack of our lives, so much so that I think many of us take it for granted, just as we do in the soundtrack of a film. That is, we enjoy the film without realizing how much the music conditions our reactions. Music penetrates almost every part of our lives, our rest, our entertainment, our education, and even our worship. Music both shapes us and reflects society. Dancers follow its beats, protesters use it to find their voice, and it can promote ideals like peace and solidarity, but it can also prepare armies for battle. It is part of almost every personal and collective moment in our lives, which is why I think music unites us.